All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. Today, we're setting the stage for an epic, truly cinematic scale event straight out of the ancient texts. We're looking at a story of unimaginable power, sheer cosmic panic, and a looming battle that literally threatens to shake the heavens themselves. So, picture this. Imagine a creature so impossibly huge that it's carrying a full-grown elephant in one claw, a giant tortoise in the other, and, just for good measure, a mountain-shattering tree branch securely in its beak. We're dropping right into the middle of the action here, witnessing the sheer, jaw-dropping absurdity of Garuda casually cruising through the sky holding an entire ecosystem.
Okay, Act 1, The Flight of Garuda, the unfathomable scale.
Now, you might be wondering, why on earth is Garuda flying around with a massive, broken tree branch in his beak? Well, as he grabbed his incredibly heavy prey, the branch he was perched on just snapped. But, as he looked around, he noticed the Valakhilya Rishis. Now, if you don't remember, these are tiny but insanely powerful ascetic sages who literally hang upside down from tree branches and survive entirely by drinking the rays of the sun. Crazy, right? Anyway, Garuda realizes that if this bough falls, these sages are going to be completely crushed. So, in this incredible display of restraint, especially considering his raw, destructive power, he holds onto his prey even tighter, clamps that massive branch in his beak, and just keeps flying upwards to save them.
The sages, witnessing this absolutely unimaginable physical feat, are just awestruck. They actually give him his famous name right then and there. They declare, "As this ranger of the skies rises on its wings, bearing a heavy burden, let this foremost of birds be called Garuda." And get this, Garuda literally translates to bearer of heavy weight. So his very identity, his name, is born from this exact mind-bending moment of supreme power mixed with, well, profound physical control.
Moving right along to Act 2, Saving the Sages, the Father's Intervention.
So Garuda is leisurely coursing through the skies, shaking the mountains with his wings, and desperately looking for a safe place to land. He ends up at Gandhamadana Mountain to consult his father Kasyapa. And guys, this really illustrates how terrifying Garuda is. To his own father, Garuda is this indescribable force of nature. He's got the speed of the wind, or even the speed of the mind. He's as huge as a mountain peak, radiating the blazing splendor of Agni, the fire god. Kasyapa knows his son can literally suck up the ocean and is completely invincible to deities and rakshasas. Basically, he's capable of destroying all three worlds.
But Kasyapa also knows the grave danger his son is in from carrying this specific branch. He warns him, saying, "Do not commit a rash act or you're going to suffer pain. Do not anger these sun-drinking sages or their wrath will absolutely blast you." So Kasyapa actually steps in to mediate. He manages to propitiate the ascetics and successfully convinces them to abandon the broken bow. They agree, relocate to the sacred Himavat mountains, and finally clear the way for Garuda to drop this colossal burden safely.
Which brings us to Act 3, Shattering the Mountain, the cataclysmic drop. Now, because his mouth is still completely jammed with this massive tree branch, Garuda has to sort of mumble to his dad, asking him to point out a desolate, totally unpopulated region to drop this immense load. Kasyapa points him to a snow-covered mountain with caves and dales, unreachable by ordinary creatures. Garuda covers hundreds of thousands of yojanas in just a fraction of a second, and he drops this gigantic bough with a deafening crash. The storm raised by his wings makes the entire mountain shake violently. It sets off this cataclysmic chain reaction. Showers of flowers drop, and peaks totally decked out in gems and gold just loosen and crumble on all sides. When that massive bough strikes down, golden trees shatter like lightning-charged clouds, completely dyeing the ground with mountain metals so it shines brilliantly. It's like the whole area is bathed in the sun.
But here is what's truly wild, the total tonal shift. Right after causing a literal earthquake and shattering a golden mountainscape, Garuda just takes a breather. He casually perches on the summit, eats the elephant, eats the tortoise, and then just rises back up into the sky. The scale of this creature is so beyond massive that an apocalyptic mountain drop is essentially just his dinner bell before he takes flight again.
Let's look at Act 4, Omens of Doom, Cosmic Panic.
Okay, so then we get this violent shift in perspective directly to the heavens. Suddenly, the gods start experiencing these unprecedented, terrifying phenomena. And the descriptions straight from the text are just absolutely wild. Indra's favorite thunderbolt, it literally blazes up in sheer fright. Flaming meteors start shooting down right in the middle of the day.
The gods' own weapons mysteriously start attacking each other, which, by the way, hadn't even happened in their epic wars against the Asuras. You've got a completely cloudless sky roaring tremendously, and terrible masses of clouds dropping thick showers of actual blood. Even those beautiful flowery garlands on the necks of the gods just fade away. The visual imagery here is intentionally meant to overwhelm us, showing a universe that is fundamentally reacting in horror to something massive coming their way.
And the crucial takeaway here is the total, utter bewilderment of the divine forces. Indra, the wielder of the thunderbolt, the chief of the gods, is just completely panicked. He turns to Vrihaspati in total confusion and asks, "Why, O worshipful one, have these natural disturbances suddenly arisen? No foe do I behold who would oppress us in war." It perfectly captures his panic, right? There's no army at the gates, there isn't a single visible enemy anywhere in sight, and yet the sky is literally raining blood and their weapons have a mind of their own.
Well, Vrihaspati delivers the horrifying answer. He points straight to the Soma, or the amrita, the fiercely guarded celestial nectar of immortality. He explains that this whole cosmic panic is entirely due to the approach of Garuda. He warns that this bird, who possesses immeasurable strength and can assume any form at will, has set his heart on stealing their absolute most prized possession. Vrihaspati's warning to Indra is chillingly absolute. He says, "Everything is possible with him. The unachievable he can achieve."
Which leads us to our final section, Act 5, Defending the Amrita, the final stand. So, the tension is at an absolute boiling point now. Indra immediately warns his guards that a bird of immeasurable strength is coming to take the amrita by force, and the deities take ultimate precautions. It sets up this staggering climax. Look at this comparison. On one side, you have a single unstoppable bird who we literally just saw crack a mountain like an eggshell. And opposing him, the entire pantheon of gods, geared up in golden breastplates set with gems, tough leathern armor, and wielding countless sharp, terrible weapons, spiked iron maces, flaming polished swords, and tridents just spitting sparks and smoke.
The text paints this brilliant, final visual of the divine preparation. Standing shoulder to shoulder, the gods prepare for the clash of a lifetime, resplendent as fire, capable of splitting the towns of Asuras. Their glowing armor and their smoking weapons just illuminate the sky. The text actually tells us that because of the sheer number of spiked maces and bright arms gathered to protect the nectar, the battlefield shone like an entirely different firmament, illumined by the rays of the sun.
As the sky glows with divine weaponry, and this mountain-shattering bird closes in, we're left with one massive question. For Garuda, the unachievable is achievable, but the gods stand ready with unmatched celestial firepower. So can an army of gods stop the unstoppable? Thank you for exploring this text with me during this explainer. I'm going to leave you to ponder exactly what happens when an immovable divine army meets an irresistible, earth-shattering force.